in Levitating, in a small suburban area where pleasure comes from being possessed by spiritual beings, 20-year-old Bayu aspires to be the shaman for regular trance parties and later emerges as a critical figure to solve the area's crisis in the face of an impending eviction. Levitating is directed by Wregas Bhanuteja, and this is his third feature after Photocopier and Andra Gogi. And Levitating just debuted at the 2026 Sundance Film Festival. Levitating for me was a bit of a mixed bag. It's an somewhat interesting film, but there's a lot of things in the film that kept me back from labeling it a good film. I'll start off with the positives about this film. It's so enriched with Indonesian culture, and this part of Indonesian culture, the shaman and the levitating and being possessed by spirits, and this part of the culture in Indonesia I've never seen in film before. So it was interesting to see that. And once the two central characters in this film, Bayu, played by Angga Yunanda, and Lakshmi, played by Maudy Ayunda, once it takes a while, but once the characters are allowed to, the characterization of the characters is explored in the middle section of the film. The characters are brought to life, and they have a nice, interesting backstory. I really did feel for their characters. But for me, there's throughout this film, there's maybe half the film, there's these trance parties, and they take up half the film, and they get repetitive. And the director really does try to put like lots of like the colorful dances and different kind of dances and music and some CGI effects and trying to mix it up a little bit. But these trance parties and these kind of spiritual events, I just get so repetitive, and it's just every time a new dance party comes on the screen, it's like another one, and it's just, especially in the first half of the film, it's just the film gets so bogged down in these trance parties, and the film is almost two hours long, and the film doesn't really go anywhere. You don't see coming in the first 20 minutes of the film. The film really telegraphs where it's going to go. Like Bayu, he really doesn't want to stay in his village. He doesn't really want to go to Jakarta with his stepdad, but he really wants to stay in his village because he's very comfortable there. And then he has this like love interest, Lakshmi, played by Maudy Ayunda, and of course they're going to end up being a love interest later on in the film. And Bayu, he really wants to join this trance party as his regular job, and of course he ends up getting that towards the end of the film. So one of his competitors is this guy cocky like trance party participant, and of course he's like kind of like the bad guy in this film. So also there's this kind of like company who wants to take over the village, and they're slowly buying out their neighbors, and they want to evict them from this village so they can build a hotel in the area. So in the first 20 minutes of the film, the film really telegraphs where it's going to go at the end of the film. So once all these trance parties start going on, it's like, oh, I know where this film is going, and then it's another trance party. It's like they're quite interesting, and in those sections where there are no trance parties, we get to learn about these characters, and they're very interesting. So it's like, and as I said before, the film is just too long. There's just too much going on in this film. Like Bayu, he has his own personal problems in this film, and then Lakshmi, she has her own personal problems in this film. She comes from Jakarta, and she heard about these trance parties in this village, so she travelled to there to kind of like as an outlet, so she can like, because when she's in these trance states, she forgets about her problems. And in this film, Bayu, he I think in these trance parties they can use any musical instrument they want, and Bayu, he chooses to use like a flute, and he can choose any animal he wants to be as his spirit. And so this film is just too long. There's just too much going on in this film. Bayu's personal problems, Lakshmi has personal problems, and there's this company trying to overtake the village, and there's this other cocky like shaman who's competing against Bayu, and then there was also his stepdad who's like made a new woman, and maybe they all go together to Jakarta and start like a new water business. And so there's just too much plot and there's going on in this film, and I really wish it just like honed in on the characters a little bit more, because they're quite interesting and the performances there to back it up. So I give Levitating 2.5 stars out of 5. This film was a little bit of a mixed bag for me. It's just too long, there's too much going on in this film, and the trance party sequences just take up far too much time of the film, because and I really like the characters in this film. I really like the performances in this film. They're very they get the actors really breathe these characters to life, and it's really a nice part of Indonesian culture that I really haven't seen on screen before. But yeah, this film was a little bit of a mixed bag for me. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Levitating? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.